Welcome back to Living in the Word, and today we are looking at the story of Dinah and the Men of Shechem. So let's begin. Genesis 34 verses 1 to 4. Now Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had borne to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, the prince of the land, saw her. And he took her and lay with her and raped her. And his soul clung to Dinah, the daughter of Jacob. And he loved the girl and spoke tenderly to the girl. So Shechem said to Hamor his father, saying, "Get this girl for me as a wife." At this time in the ancient East, it was highly unusual for a young girl or woman to leave the camp without an escort or chaperone, especially when going to a city in a new land. Dinah was possibly only about 15 at this time. I have 3 girls, and this story shows a lack of boundaries being set on Jacob and Leah's part. And this lack of boundaries puts Dinah in a position which increases the chance of something bad happening. We will never be able to stop every bad thing from happening to our children, but we certainly can limit them. If Jacob had sent Simeon with Dinah, would Dinah have been raped? You would probably have to say, probably not. I'll use a real life example for my children. If my daughter, when she turns 18, asks me if she can go to a nightclub, I would say no and explain the problems that can occur. Now, some people will think that I'm not letting her experience life. The problem is that not all experiences are good, and some of them are even life-changing or even life-ending. As a father, it is my responsibility to protect my children and to teach them the ways of God. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, "Do not be deceived. Evil company corrupts good habits." In other words, the more you hang out with the world, the more you become like the world. Let's continue on. Genesis 34 verses 5 to 12. And Jacob heard that Dinah his daughter had been defiled, but his sons were with his flocks in the field. And Jacob kept silent until they came. And Hamor, father of Shechem, went out to Jacob to speak with him. And the sons of Jacob came in from the field when they heard it. And the men were distressed and very angry because he had done a disgraceful thing in Israel by having sexual relations with the daughter of Jacob, something that should not be done. And Hamor spoke with them, saying, "Shechem, my son, is in love with your daughter. Please give her to him for a wife. Make marriages with us, give us your daughters, and take our daughters for yourselves. You shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Settle and trade in it, and acquire property in it." Then Shechem said to her father and to her brothers, "Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me I will do. Make the bride price, and gift as high as you like. I will give what you say to me, but give me the girl as a wife." So Shechem is one of those characters who seems to think they can have anything they desire. It's like his right to have everything he wants. Now, Dinah's brothers are not just angry because of her rape, but because this indecent act has destroyed her future. In that culture, a woman who was known to not be a virgin had very limited prospects for marriage, if any at all. Genesis 34, verses 13 to 24. Then the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and his father Hamor, speaking deceitfully, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said to them, "We cannot do this thing, to give our sister to a man who is uncircumcised, for that it is a disgrace for us. Only on this condition will we give consent to you. If you will become like us, every male among you to be circumcised, then we will give our daughters to you, and we will take for ourselves your daughters, and we will live with you and become one family. But if you will not listen to us to be circumcised, then we will take our daughters and we will go. And their words were good in the eyes of Hamor and in the eyes of Shechem, the son of Hamor. And the young man did not delay to do the thing, for he wanted the daughter of Jacob. Now he was the most honoured of his father's house. Then Hamor and his son Shechem came to the gate of their city, and they spoke to the men of their city, saying, These men are at peace with us. Let them dwell in the land, and let them trade in it. Now behold, the land is broad enough for them. Let us take their daughters as wives, and let us give our daughters to them. Only on this condition will the men give consent to us, to live with us and to become one family, when every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Will not their livestock and their property and all their animals be ours? Only let us give consent to them, so they will live among us. And all those who went out of the gate of his city listened to Hamor and his son Shechem. Every male was circumcised, all those who went out of the gate of his city. Dinah's brothers remained outraged. Their first thought is probably to kill Shechem right there and then. But he actually still has Dinah at his house. She's still a captive there. So they come up with this plan to deceive them. Sound familiar? Sounds a bit like their father, Jacob. Genesis 34 verses 25 to 31. And it happened that on the third day, while they were in pain, two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, the brothers of Dinah, each took his sword and came against the unsuspecting city and killed all the males. They killed Hamor and his son Shechem with the edge of the sword, and they took Dinah from the house of Shechem and went out. The other sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their flocks and their cattle and their donkeys and whatever was in the city and whatever was in the field. They captured and plundered all that was in the houses, all their wealth, their little ones and their women. Then Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, You have brought trouble on me, making me stink among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites. I am few in number. If they gather against me and attack me, I will be destroyed, I and my household. But they said, Shall he treat our sister like a prostitute? Simeon and Levi go on a killing spree and take out all the males of the city, including Shechem and his father Hamor. Now Jacob speaks up, fearing that the people of the land will rise up against them and destroy them. It's interesting that Jacob, throughout this whole episode, only talks about the trouble put on himself. Nothing about the trouble on Dinah. Nothing about the actions of Simeon and Levi. Perhaps a huge factor in this is Leah. Leah was the mother of Dinah, Simeon and Levi. Simeon and Levi seem to act with vengeance because they know their father will do nothing. Why? Because he doesn't love Leah the way he loves Rachel. Leah is more of a maidservant than a wife to him. Later in Genesis 37, when Joseph is lost, Rachel's son, there is a strong contrast in actions and emotions by Jacob. Jacob does eventually punish Simeon and Levi through their inheritance when Jacob is on his deathbed in Genesis 49. It also seems that the attacks caused the people of the land to fear Jacob and his family, quite opposite of what Jacob initially reacts towards. Well, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. God bless.